Hello, my name is Henriette and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'd love to have you here. In this video, Mike and I have travelled to the north of England to visit the Peak District. I'm planning on doing a lot of thrifting whilst I'm here, and we're also visiting some good friends. The Peak District is a national park and it's more than 550 square miles, and it is beautiful. Most of the houses and buildings that you see here are built out of the local limestone, including the hotel we're staying in. We're starting our tour in New Mills, which is where our hotel is, and it's a cute little town or village if you like, and there are loads of charity shops. I particularly like this one because it was quite large. There are always certain things I look for when I go thrift shopping, and jogs are definitely one of those. I have a real love for jogs, I just find them charming. I also always look for anything seasonal that I can use in my home. And I look for items that I can change or make over to turn them into something that I would prefer. As I'm looking through all these thrift stores, I very much have Easter and spring in the back of my mind because they are the seasons we are heading for. The towns in the Peak Districts are all very small, so we've travelled on to the next one, and this one is called Alderley Edge. If you have been on my channel for a while, you will know that I have a love for sewing, so looking out for things like curtains, second-hand curtains, is a great way to get cheap fabric. I really enjoy thrifting because it's all about the luck that you have on the day. Sometimes I come home with loads and other times not so much. But our trip to the Peak District turned out to be a very fruitful one, and I can't wait to show you all my purchases a little later on in the video. It is the next day and it's our last day in the Peak District, and I really wanted to show you this little town. It's called Bakewell and is ever so pretty and quaint. Bakewell is really well known because of their Bakewell tarts, and they've been baked for many years. A Bakewell tart is an English pudding consisting of a short crust pastry shell beneath layers of jam, frangipane and a topping of flaked almonds. And they are delicious. Where else could you possibly find a pudding parlour? I mean, only in the UK. As the day was coming to an end and the sun was setting, it was time for us to head back to London. We are back in London and I wanted to show you the purchases I made in the Peak District. First of all, I got these two little jugs because I think they will look really nice in any spring or summer decor. This little pot also caught my attention because I love the colour, and you can't moan at $2.50. The wooden bowl also came home with me because I really like it, but I'm not so keen on the orange on the inside. So it's definitely up for a makeover. No surprises here. This French little jug also came home with me, and I just love it. It's so cute. I also got another one, and these ones I'm not going to make over, but I will show you how I'm going to style them a little later on in this video. And Easter is coming, so how could I possibly resist these bunnies? And the pair of them were such a good deal. I will be doing a makeover on these a little later on. This beautiful book also now has a home with me, and I picked it because I like the colour of the cover and also what's actually inside of the book. This is a subject I'm very much interested in, and I also think it would look really nice as a coffee table book. Now these curtains I absolutely had to have, and I got so much out of them, and I can't wait to show you a little later on. These next items are actually from a previous video when we went to Westerham. I got these 2 hamper baskets because I very much have Mother's Day in mind. Let's get started on these makeovers, and this is the exciting bit for me. I'm going to start with the bunnies, which I'm going to paint white so they match all my other bunnies. Now one of the bunnies is plastic and the other one is porcelain, so I'm using a special paint that will cover both. I'll be sure to link it below in the description box. This is after 1 coat of paint, so they will definitely need some more. I really want these bunnies to look like they are ceramic like my other bunnies, so for my second coat I'm adding some baking powder to get that texture. I don't really know how much baking powder I'm adding here, but I reckon about a tablespoon or 2. I just keep adding it until I feel like the texture is right. Here are the bunnies after 2 coats of paint, and I did add a third, and you'll see them all finished in a little while. Whilst all that paint is drying, I thought it'd be good to get started on the hamper baskets. I'm starting off by removing all the things that I don't want, and then I'm giving them a really good clean. I clean everything I get from the thrift stores just to be on the safe side. I'm going to line the inside of these hamper baskets, and for the first one, this is for Mike's mum, I'm using a floral fabric because she likes gardening. So this is very much all about measuring. So I'm measuring the bottom of the basket first and then cutting out the fabric to size. And I always like to check that I get it right, so here's a quick check. Then I measure the sides, but I make this fabric a little bit longer because I want it to go over the edge of the basket. And I zigzag around all the edges of my fabric to make sure that it doesn't fray. And you should end up with 5 pieces of fabric like this. I then pin and sew the 5 pieces of fabric together as I had them laid out on the table before. I can then join my corners up, and I'm making sure that I'm only sewing 10 centimeters here because that is the height of my baskets. This leaves the corners of the fabric hanging over the edge of the basket looking a little untidy, so I'll pin and sew them back as well, all 8 of them. Corners all tidy, then the next thing is just to fold over the edges of the fabric and sew alongside the top, thereby creating a space where you can pull a bit of ribbon through. As I'm putting this ribbon through, I thought I'd tell you that my mum's basket turned out very different to this one. She's Scandinavian and a minimalist, and you'll see that soon. It was time to figure out what to do with this wooden bowl, which is a little bit on the orange side. So I went out and got some liming wax. I have sanded this bowl and cleaned it really well before I start applying it. Whilst I'm waxing this bowl, I want to thank you all for watching the video so far, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If so, please like, comment and subscribe. It will mean the absolute world to me. And also, I love hearing from you. Your messages are fabulous and I love them. Now the key to waxing is to really work the wax into the wood. And I'm spreading it quite thinly because I don't want it to be too white. I still want it to look like a wooden bowl. And you'll see this one finished too in a little while. Now for these curtains, and I immediately thought outdoor cushions when I saw these. And I'm going to start off by cutting away the things that I don't need. I say outdoor cushions, this fabric is absolutely gorgeous and probably very expensive. But we don't leave our cushions outside overnight, we put them away. And that's mainly because we have foxes that like to do their business where it's not wanted. You have seen me make cushion covers many times before, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. But I'm making envelope sort of type cushions, and it only takes 3 bits of fabric to make up a cushion cover. If you are new to sewing, then this is a great place to start because you get a result quite quickly and they're not too complicated. Also, the other thing to say is make sure you zigzag around the edges before you put them together to stop the fabric from fraying, and that way they'll last for much longer. My mum introduced me to a sewing machine at a very young age, and I'm so pleased she did, but it's never too late to learn. It's time to start styling all my new items, and I find this very exciting. I'm going to start off with this tray that I made during my last video, which I will link below in the description box. I think these little jugs are so cute, and I also think they can be used for many things. On this occasion I'm going to use them to have some herbs in them, and I've got some basil here and a bit of thyme. I'm also going to pair this little setting with a cookbook and some garlic. I'm absolutely thrilled with how the bunnies turned out, but of course I'm not going to style them yet. You will see them again when it's Easter time. You can also think of many ways to style these French jugs, but this little one I'm going to style with one that I had already because the colours really complement each other, and all I'm going to do is leave them on the shelf here and fill the little one up with some candles. I think sometimes when you style things quite simply, it really works. Things doesn't always have to be so complicated. The bigger jug that I found while thrifting, I'm going to style slightly differently, and I'm starting off by bringing in my scalloped edge tray, which I absolutely adore because I think they pair really well. I'm also going to add a bit of faux eucalyptus here, just to really set it off. I'm going for a bit of a rustic look here, so I'm adding some rustic looking little bowls and my new little pot. I think the green of this pot works so well with the eucalyptus, and I'm going to use it to put some toothpicks in. I think these hamper baskets turned out so cute, and they are so very different. The floral one here for my mother-in-law and the more simple one for my mum. And I can't wait to fill them up with some homemade goodies, but more on that in a future video. Now, I knew this fabric was going to give me a lot, but it actually ended up giving me 5 cushion covers, but that's not all. I also managed to sew 8 table mats. I'm just going to show you a quick little table setting here just so you get the idea. But I think the colours of these table mats are so summery or spring-like. As the weather is terrible outside in London, I'm imagining what this might look like outside on our garden table, and I think it's really going to work. The greenery I'm using here is fake Spanish moss, but I'll make sure I link as much as I can in the description box below. And just a couple of candles, and I think that is all this is going to need. I've moved into our living room to style the last couple of items, and I'm going to start off with placing this white tray here. Now, this originally came from the White Company, and I think it's still available, and if it is, I'll link it below in the description box. I'm keeping the styling simple in here too, and also very spring-like. Next, I'm adding a couple of interior design books. I flipped through these quite a lot, and then it's on to my new book. I'm loving the colour of this outer cover. The wooden bowl also turned out really well, I think, and it's such a good size. That's all from me today. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you soon. Much love from London.